Well, here's an unboxing from Silver Skull Gamer from Shapeways. First ever for me. Let's see. Let's see what we got. Pretty excited. I hope this works out. Well packaged. And that should be it. Yeah, that's it. All right. Put this order in about 2 weeks ago. A little over a week ago. All right. I don't know how fragile this 3D printed stuff is. I've never dealt with it before, so. Okay, good. That comes out. Okay, here we go. Oh, that looks pretty good. Alright, let's see how good this camera's going to work for us. So what we have here are some Salamander, Space Marine, Catapracti Terminator armor shoulder pads. That's a little hard to see, obviously, because it's the clear resin or plastic, whatever they deal with, ultra frosted detail. And it's translucent, so it's a little hard to see the detail when I'm trying to kind of get different angles of light on it so you can see it. But to my inspection, it looks pretty good. Very interesting sprue design, which is good. So there's only two little, very small points on the inside rim of the shoulder pad that you would just have to cut or clip. And it's on a flat surface to remove it from the sprue, so that makes it very easy to clean that up. So I'll unbox all this, and then I'll probably dig into my Horse Heresy box sets and see if this stuff is actually going to fit. Alright, I'm not sure which one this is. It's very small. Oh, this is the one. Oh, wow. Wow. Huh. Oh, it's all one. Okay. So these are Dragonhead Insignia, and they're curved. You can see the curve there to basically just glue onto any Space Marine shoulder pad. So you don't have to worry about ordering the correct mark of shoulder pad for your armor. You get 60 of these. I haven't actually, 10 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 60 of these little attachable insignia to fit any shoulder pad. And actually what we can do, well, we'll do all the test fits at the same time. Now these are pretty small. It looks like there's supposed to be an eye, but I don't know if it's raised or supposed to be in a hole. If it's supposed to be an actual hole in the icon, it didn't quite come through, but you can clearly see something was going on there to designate an eyeball. And it looks like it's supposed to be a hole, but it didn't really. Am I still on camera here? Oh, Let's get those guys that are taking the focus away. So, yeah, so the tip of my knife's catching on that eye. There's supposed to be like an eye there. That's probably not going to come out when you paint it. And I don't know if I would trust or even have a drill bit small enough to drill those eye holes out. Which is kind of unfortunate. It's alright. I'm trying to find one maybe it's a little better. Well, not sure. But the overall shape looks really good. The texture actually looks pretty smooth. I mean, what I can see will easily be covered up by primer and paint. But I don't see those lines some people complain about from 3D printed stuff that has a bunch of lines where I don't know how the printer works. Depends on what kind of printer it is, but I mean, these look good, and 60 of your chosen chapters icons for under $20 is the best deal you will ever find. For most guys, even PopGoesTheMonkey, who's the guy I ordered this, or the designer I ordered this from. I don't know if it's a guy or girl, but the designer I ordered this from, you know, even his shoulder pad sets, any set of like 10 shoulder pads is going to be about the same price as 60 of these icons. Alright, so the last package. I had an idea. Oh, nice. So now we have if you can see them, the Tartarus pattern shoulder pads. That's just not going to work. There we go. Now you can see that. You can see that real clear. The Tartarus pattern Terminator shoulder pads with dragon head, and then I don't know if we'll be able to catch this. Let's see if we can catch this detail. I don't know if you can see it right there. There's flames on the forward joint cover, I guess, or I don't know what you would call that, but so the pads actually face forward like this. Maybe like that. I don't know how clear that's going to come out, but you can get the shoulder pads like this, and both dragon heads will face forward, and you have these little flame icons right here, which is pretty cool. And these look good too. Fairly smooth. You see some striation from the printing process, but honestly, I'm pretty sure it looks like, okay, so underneath the dragon head there is some roughness, I guess, from the way, I don't know how to do the angle that these were actually cut out at. Oh, sorry. I don't know if we're going to be able to see it. Might be able to see it under the dragon head, the change of texture. I don't know if... I have some very fine... It's not even really sandpaper. It's like plastic film. And I actually, this real quick, I recommend getting something like this. It's these plastic sheets that go down to an extremely fine sanding grit, like all the way down to 1,000. So I definitely recommend getting something like this from your local hobby store. $10. And there's 2 sheets of each of these. And obviously you're not going to use, I mean, you basically just cut, wide angle. You would cut a smaller piece to actually use. But I recommend getting something like this for general modeling purposes. But also, if you are going to get some 3D printed stuff, it'd be perfect to smooth out some of that striation you see from the printer. Like this dragon head here almost looks like there's a fingerprint on it. It's got those kind of lines across it. Yeah, that one too. And so some really fine sandpaper, you can just go over that and sand that away. So, alright, so I'm going to cut the camera, try to get a couple models out, and we'll see how this stuff, if it's going to fit, because really I have no idea. I saw some stuff that some of his older designs weren't quite to the right scale, but I don't know if these are old designs or new designs. I know, obviously, these are new. These are like brand new. This product, but I don't know if these Salamander Terminator pads, how new they are, in reference to the comments about new and old stuff. So we'll cut the camera and come back and try to do some dry fitting. Alright, back for the second part of the Shapeways video here. Went ahead and glued 2 icons on my test Mark III and Mark IV guy from the Betrayal of Kaltenberger Prospero kits, and then pulled out my Assault on Blackreach Salamander test paint guy with a decal. So there are noticeable differences right away. There's not quite the detail in these Shapeway icons. We can see on the decal, hopefully you can see, there's a little spike on his nose, some smaller spikes on his head going back to the main spikes, neck spikes, whatever, and obviously his eye is clearly visible, and teeth. Now this decal, one of the spines ripped off, I think. Part of the decal ripped off, or maybe that's normal. I don't remember. It's been so long. And it's fairly large on there. Good size dragon head. Now let's look at... Now on this Mark IV pad with a very thin rim, these little dragon heads look kind of small. You've only got, you've got 4 neck spines. There is a little bump on the nose, but that's it. There's no other small spikes, and the teeth are kind of there. And the eyeball, obviously, we've talked about already. You may be able to drop maybe some black ink or something in that. There is a depression where the eyeball is, but it's not a hole. So these icons do look a little small on the Mark IV shoulder pad that has such a thin trim on it. And they may look a little small on Mark VII as well. If we look at the Mark III guy, it looks better because the rim is so thick, right? So, let me get it centered. And obviously, you know, you do have to be a little careful with gluing them because you may get, you kind of need to pick an angle. So these 2 guys aren't really at the same angle. The mouth on the Mark IV guy is almost pointed at the front corner of the shoulder pad here. Almost. It's just a little above that. My Mark III guy, his mouth is pointed really at the bottom of the upper shoulder trim. So I think I'd probably go with more of an angle, like I did for the 40K depiction. So if we look at these two together, let's try to get these side by side. So, you know, the decals do look good. The issue is, or at least the design is good, it's detailed. But if you've ever tried to do transfers on these curved shoulder pads, it is a pain in the butt. It's just, to me, it is. Maybe, you know, some of you guys got it down, but and then those shoulder transfers are a pain in the butt. So yeah, that's that part. Basically, you can clearly see they're kind of small, not quite as detailed as the decals, but you get 60 of them for like $18, depending on your Insignia. They might vary by like $1, depending on, I guess, how intricate the design is. Oh, and here we'll have, so don't use a hobby knife to bear down on the little sprue, because the lower jaw could snap off. It's kind of brittle plastic, found out. So now I'm down to 59 usable icons, which is okay. I'm really probably not going to use all 60 anyways, because I've ordered some other stuff that we'll do a review on when that comes in. So I don't think I'm going to need all 60 shoulder icons anyways. And obviously I've already used 2 for regular bolter guys. But alright, so now let's move on to Terminator Fitting. Now, let's do the catapracti first. That was a pain in the butt. So, first of all, a little review on these plastic. This is the catapracti plastic shoulder guards are 2 pieces. There's a inner shoulder guard that actually goes on the arm. Which, this one's backwards because I clipped off the wrong side, first of all. So what you're supposed to do is glue on this little inner shoulder pad first. Okay? And then it's got this ridge. And you know the front from the rear because the fronts have a curve, a little divot in the front guard. Okay? So this one's the wrong way. Don't worry about that. It's not. So you're supposed to glue on this little inner pad first, right? And then you glue on the outer pad, but it's only supposed to touch that little ridge, which is a huge pain in the ass, because then you get, like, you're trying to hold it together and it gets kind of wonky, and now they're like angled and it's not evenly spaced, and you get something that's kind of a mess. So these 2-piece shoulder guards are a pain in the butt, I think. I was thinking about magnetizing both Tartarus and catapracti Terminators because they come with complete weapon options. The issue with that is you run out of shoulder guards. Shoulder pads, or yeah, whatever, shoulder guards, because you only get, you know, 1 set of shoulder guards for 1 set of arms, but you could actually do, but you're given basically 2 sets of arm options in both sets. So not sure what I'm going to do. I need to look at the rules, I guess. Well, I don't have the 30K rules. This is going to be a 30K army, and I don't have the 30K rules. So I don't know if Lightning Claw Terminators are going to be good for Salamanders. Obviously, I'm going to end up getting Fire Drakes. But I don't know. I don't know about that. But these two-piece plastic shoulder guards are a pain in the ass. So let's just get that right off the bat. So let's dry fit the one-piece Shapeways pad on here. And feels a little wonky on there. Yeah, it's not a perfect fit. It's not perfect, but I think it works. Let's see if we can. He did include the lower lip. You can see that lower lip that would be from the inner shoulder guard right there. So that's a part of this kit. And, I mean, you can see that the lower, this is two-piece, well, appears to be two-piece as well, but they've actually managed to get a gap in there as well, if you can see that. So this looks like a two-piece shoulder pad. When you paint it, you can make it look like a two-piece shoulder pad. But thank goodness it's not. So the fit on the arm is not perfectly snug. But honestly, I think it's fine. I don't know. What do you guys think? So there's that. Kind of, now obviously I'm holding this with my fingers. It's not tight as it could be. Or that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to go with a one piece myself. Obviously it'll look better painted too. Alright, let's move Catapracti aside. I glued up the flamer arm for the Tartarus. Because why not? I mean, salamanders, flamers, hello. You know what I didn't clip off? Was a Tartarus plastic pad. I do that real fast. Let me get a Tartarus plastic shoulder pad. That is a right arm. So, right arm. I think that's the right pad. So the plastic pads also only have the roundel. Is that what we're going to call it? Or the joint guard on one side. On the front of the Tartarus pads. PopGoesTheMonkey has it on both sides. So, ooh, that fits. You know, I'm not sure if these aren't meant to just glue to the Terminator body, because that doesn't really fit at all. Where does it show? Oh, okay, here we go. Huh? This shows them. So it shows the shoulder guards. If we look, gluing down onto the arms. But that's going to be finicky as hell because, like I said, they don't really fit. I mean, there's a lot of play within that. So I'm going to finger out of the way. There we go. There's just a lot of play within that. Now let's compare the size of what we're doing. Oh, we'll turn it right side up. So, the Shapeways one may be a little thinner overall, because you can see the plastic one kind of comes down right there. See that extension with a little curve, and it curves out, and there's kind of an extension. Oh shit. Pardon my language. And pardon my head in the camera. I had to reach down and get the Shapeways guy. The Shapeways one, I think get my fingers out of the light. It kind of comes down. I don't know if you can see. Oh, there you go. You see that little angle? So it kind of looks like it comes out further, but not really. Oh, no, he doesn't have the round L on both sides. Okay, my bad. So it's the same. It matches up. Let's see how this one fits on there. Okay, so actually the Shapeways pad fits almost perfect. It is snug on there. But you can also see how much thicker it is on the inside. And that's snug. There's a lot of contact area. There's a lot more contact area on this shoulder guard. Much better. Like, he must, obviously, I think he had access to this kit to do these, because that is so much better. Let's look at the inside of the arm. Let me hold this one up. I see how much, oh my gosh, I can't even hold it on there. Like, you see how much play there is? How wobbly that is? Like, it just doesn't not hold on there. If any sort of lateral force or whatever, it just slides off. Pain in the ass. Snug fit. Like, oh, can I show that? Let me see if I can get my fingers out of the way to show how you can line it up to be a smooth. Get the angle. Wait, yeah, is that right? That's about right. Just smooth. Look at that. See right there? That is a snug fit. I think we have a clear winner on the Tartarus pads. Get you some PopGoesTheMonkey Legion Tartarus pads, because they fit way better than these plastic flimsy things. Alright, so that's our review. As far as the salamander icons, the what is it, bent shoulder icons? I think that's what they're called. Or, yeah. Curved, I'm sorry, curved shoulder insignia. Okay? If you want to look, I'll put a link. I'll put links to all the his shop in the video description. The icons may not be quite as detailed as your Games Workshop decals, but honestly, they, for a tabletop standard army or tabletop plus, you know, just a little more than tabletop standard, which is kind of what I do for the most part, just a little bit better. These will make your life much easier. I thought maybe I'd be able to paint them on the sprue, but as we can see, the sprue's too thin and they'll touch. I could, I guess, cut each. I guess I could. What I could do is, if you wanted to paint them on, well, I wouldn't recommend that either, really, because you need to be careful clipping these off. At least on these dragon head icons, because that lower jaw, if you try to press down and cut these off with a hobby knife, you could snap that lower jaw. But I may still try to separate these, because there's really like 3 sprues, right? And I may try to paint them on the sprue, and then I just have to touch up where I clip it, because that would kind of make life a lot easier too. That way you're not painting white over a black shoulder guard, or painting a black shoulder guard, or painting a white shoulder guard and then going back and painting black over it. And yeah, so I may still try to paint these on the sprue. And I'm sure I would recommend washing these parts before you paint them. There may be powdery, you know, residue from the printing process or some kind of solvent, so wash your parts before you paint them too. But Tartarus shoulder pads by far are the winner today. Far better than the generic plastic pieces that come with the actual Games Workshop kit. The catapracti pieces, I think, are good. I think it's going to look fine. It's just not quite the snug fit that the Tartarus are. That's really the only knock against it. But it's one piece as opposed to the two fiddly plastic pieces. And it's got cool flames, dragon head, it's got the rivets. That's cool. Good detail. So, recommend it. Recommend this stuff. Definitely recommend this stuff if you're going to do, well, I guess even a 40k army, but definitely if you're doing a Legion army, check out the curved shoulder insignia 60 for like 18 US dollars, because that's going to save you a lot of time and money, and a lot of money. If you're, instead of buying Forge World pads or even the different designers Shapeway custom shoulder pads, it's going to save you a ton of money. Alright, so that's it for this.